Is it hard for you to pretend you're mad when you're not mad? Let me see your mad face.
You're in big trouble, mister.
Once the queens of the spotlight, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen seemed to vanish overnight, leaving an entire generation asking, where did they go? From ruling TV screens to stepping into the shadows, their sudden disappearance has fueled endless speculation and mystery. Was it fame burnout, a secret plan, or something more? Get ready to uncover the untold story of the twins who disappeared without a trace. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's new chapter. When the movie New York Minute came out in 2004, Mary-Kate and Ashley were already well known. As adults, this was their first and last movie to come out in theaters. Unlike their previous projects, which were aimed at a dedicated group of preteen fans, this movie was meant to be their big break in popular Hollywood. The story is about two sisters who go on a crazy trip to New York City. There are lots of funny, crazy, and over-the-top moments in the story. It was a standard Olsen plot, but with a twist meant for an older audience. People had very high hopes. Many people went to the movies, but the reviewers weren't as lovely. The movie got mixed reviews and didn't do as well at the box office as expected. The New York Minute was the end of an era for Mary-Kate and Ashley. They had been actors for almost 18 years, but making this movie made them even more sure of what they already knew. Acting no longer made them happy. Even though they were good at it, it had turned into a job. Fans were shocked when Mary-Kate and Ashley quit acting totally after New York Minute. For most people, it seemed sudden, but the twins had been thinking about it for years. They weren't the little girls who played Michelle Tanner together on Full House anymore. They were young women who didn't want the same things in life. In interviews, they talked about how their time as child stars affected their choice to stop playing. Their success looked easy from the outside, but things were much more challenging in real life. Since they were 9 months old, they had worked non-stop. There were filming, photo shoots, and promotional trips all over their days. The job of being Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen took up their whole childhoods. They were ready for a change by the time they were 18. They took advantage of living outside Hollywood by moving to New York City and enrolling at NYU. It wasn't just about going to college. They were trying to find themselves again. Fashion had always been a big part of their lives, making them more interested in it. They had a lot of say in what they wore, even when they were young actors. In a world where they could finally make their own choices, fashion became a way for them to show themselves and be creative. Their growing love led to the creation of The Row, their first high-fashion brand. The Row was different from its other businesses, such as the successful teen clothing line it had at Walmart. It was based on their own tastes and beliefs. The brand put an emphasis on quality craftsmanship and classic design, which was very different from the fast-paced, trend-driven world of famous fashion. Fans were shocked when they heard that Mary-Kate and Ashley were quitting acting. For a whole generation, the twins were more than just actors, they were role models. Their films, TV shows, and carefully chosen characters had shaped kids' lives. It seemed impossible that there would be no new Olsen twin projects in the world. Fans said everything, from being upset to being heartbroken. Some people thought that their break would only be temporary and that they would be back on the screen soon. Some people didn't understand why the twins would quit a job that paid so well. Of course, the journalists had their own opinion. The real reasons for their choice were talked about in the news. The tabloids wrote about stress, personal problems, and drama going on behind the scenes. Every move Mary-Kate and Ashley made was closely watched, even when they skipped a red carpet or were caught smoking outside of an NYU apartment. That being said, Mary-Kate and Ashley weren't looking for praise. They were focused on the future, and their fast rise in fashion success quickly showed that they didn't need Hollywood to do well. People's views started to change over time. At first, it looked like a loss for their friends, but then it became clear that the twins had won. They hadn't gone away. They had changed. They took back control of their lives and identities when they quit playing. How they changed themselves was what made their change so enjoyable. Most well-known people who stop acting are still seen by a lot of people. Ashley and Mary-Kate did the wrong thing. They liked their privacy and tried to stay away from social media and public events as much as possible. The way they dressed reflected this new part of their lives. They came up with the idea of quiet luxury with the row. This means focusing on simple elegance and high-quality materials instead of loud names or trends. Both customers and critics agreed with this theory, which earned them respect as serious designers. The row wasn't marketed around the twins' fame like some other famous brands are. In fact, Mary-Kate and Ashley chose not to use their names to push the label on purpose. Because they used to be kid stars, they didn't want their past to show in their clothes. This plan worked out well. The row is now a major player in the fashion world, known for its classic styles and top-notch craftsmanship. Mary-Kate and Ashley have won many awards, which makes them even more of a star in their field. Why their story matters. The Olsen twins' decision to step away from acting wasn't just a career move. It was a personal revolution. They had spent their childhoods in the public eye, with every aspect of their lives managed by others. By walking away, they took back control. Their journey is a rare example of child stars who successfully transitioned into adulthood without falling into the pitfalls that so often accompany fame. They reinvented themselves as creative entrepreneurs instead of clinging to their past success. Their story is also a lesson in the power of reinvention. Mary-Kate and Ashley could have stayed in Hollywood, continuing to churn out movies and TV appearances. Instead, they chose to follow their passions, even if it meant taking a risk. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen may have left Hollywood behind, but their story is far from over. They've proven that stepping away from the spotlight doesn't mean fading into obscurity. Instead, it can be a bold step towards something even more significant. By choosing to prioritize their happiness and creativity, the Olsen twins have redefined what it means to be successful. And in doing so, they've left an enduring legacy, one that goes far beyond the screen. Entrance into the fashion industry. When Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen left acting, many assumed they'd fade into the background. But these two weren't about to take a back seat. They were just getting started. Instead of staying in front of the camera, they stepped behind the scenes and entered the fashion world with the same drive and precision that made them household names. And, spoiler alert, it worked. The Olsens didn't just wake up one day and decide to conquer high fashion. Their first foray into the industry was as teen moguls, creating a clothing line for Walmart in the early 2000s. Geared toward their massive tween and teen fan base, the line was an instant hit. Putting their names on some t-shirts wasn't enough. Ashley and Mary-Kate were very active and made sure the clothes fit their style at the time. For many fans, their Walmart line was their first taste of affordable fashion that felt both goal-oriented and doable. This taught the twins early on about how the fashion business works. They learned about everything, from how to make clothes to what people want. The Walmart line wasn't exactly a fashion collection, but it set the stage for what was to come. The Olsens were ready to move on by the middle of the 2000s. They launched The Row, a high-end brand in 2006, which was a huge change from their Walmart days. The idea behind it was simple: classic, well-made pieces that put quality over flashy trends. The Row began with just one thing: a white t-shirt. But not just any t-shirt. One that was perfectly tailored and carefully designed to set the tone for the whole business. The goal was to make pieces that didn't demand attention, but instead gave off a sense of calm confidence. Their next big business was a modern brand called Elizabeth and James, which was named after their brothers. Unlike The Row, which catered to the very wealthy, Elizabeth and James were more available, with stylish, wearable items priced in the middle range. Both Mary-Kate and Ashley's brands were based on their own tastes and experiences. The Row showed their love of luxury and simplicity, while Elizabeth and James brought a more fun and young vibe. Together, these brands showed how flexible and forward-thinking they are. When Mary-Kate and Ashley first started working in fashion, it wasn't exactly a friendly place to be. People thought of them as child stars who were messing around in a world they didn't fit in. The twins not only showed they could handle things, but they did even better. The Olsens won the CFDA, Council of Fashion Designers of America, award for Women's Wear Designers of the Year in 2012. This was only 6 years after starting the row. It wasn't just a pat on the back, it was the highest seal of approval in high fashion. Currently, they have been honored with a number of CFDA honors, one of which is entitled Accessories Designer of the Year. There was a good reason for the twins to receive these prizes. They demonstrated how hard they worked, how clear their vision was, and how dedicated they were to their art. The company initially had a negative attitude towards it, but eventually came to admire it. The designers who had before considered them to be famous individuals who had reverted to the status of amateurs began to take them seriously. During this time, Mary-Kate and Ashley established themselves as fashion icons, and the row became a label that people knew for being synonymous with understated luxury. One of the things that sets Mary-Kate and Ashley apart from other people in the fashion industry is the fact that they both want to keep things straightforward. Simple shapes, basic hues, and clear lines are the hallmarks of the row's design aesthetic. No prominent brand or trademark is featured on any of the components. If you did not know any better, you might not even realize that you are looking at a coat that costs $5,000. This manner of doing things was not merely a matter of personal preference. Instead, it was a statement. By not adhering to the most recent fashion trends, the row stands apart from the crowd. They did the opposite, which was loud and different from what they did. Delicacy was something it enjoyed, and it allowed the quality of the work to speak for itself. It is also a reflection of how they conduct their own lives, as they favor a straightforward manner. Despite the fact that they have achieved a great deal of fame, Mary-Kate and Ashley have never met the public. They also make use of this sense of privacy while they are at work. It is not necessary for the row to rely on showy advertisements or backing from prominent people. It is intended to be silent, much like the folks who launched it in the first place. Mary-Kate and Ashley didn't just find success in fashion, they helped shape it. The row played a significant role in popularizing the concept of quiet luxury, a trend that prioritizes quality and elegance over showiness. This way of doing things has spread through the business. Because they believe that less can be more, other brands have done the same. There are many ways that the row changed the way high-end fashion could look. For other famous people to follow, the twins were also a big deal. Before Mary-Kate and Ashley, it didn't seem likely that a famous person would start a high-fashion brand that people would truly respect. But their success showed that designers could be taken seriously even if they weren't famous. People today think of the row as one of the most important names in the business. People who work in the fashion industry say that its pieces and their impact can be seen everywhere, from the popularity of basic colors to a greater appreciation for well-made items. It's not just Mary-Kate and Ashley's success in fashion that makes their story so interesting. It's also how they did it. They built their empire the way they wanted to by sticking to their goal and not giving in. Their story shows how powerful it is to start over. It would have been easy for them to stay in Hollywood and keep making films and TV shows. But they decided to follow their heart, even if it meant starting over in a totally different field. These days, Mary-Kate and Ashley are more than just famous child stars. They are recognized fashion designers, business owners, and icons. They've shown that you don't have to live up to other people's standards to make something important. Their entrance into the fashion industry wasn't just a career move, it was a statement. And that statement has left an indelible mark on the world of fashion. It all began when Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were just 9 months old. Cast as Michelle Tanner, the youngest member of the Tanner family on Full House, the twins took turns playing the role to comply with child labor laws. What started as a clever casting decision quickly became the show's secret weapon. Michelle's one-liners and adorable antics made her a fan favorite, and by extension, the twins became household names almost overnight. Mary-Kate and Ashley became famous because of the show when most kids their age are just learning to walk. They stood out from other kid actors because of their natural charm and the charm of their respective roles. A lot of people loved seeing them grow up on TV, and lines like, "You got it, dude," became well known. But they were famous for more than just Full House. When Mary-Kate and Ashley were babies, they were already going out on their own. They were on talk shows and in ads, and their fame started to grow in ways that went beyond the sitcom. As Full House kept doing well, the Olsen twins' parents and managers saw a chance to build a full-fledged business around their fame. They were the youngest senior producers in Hollywood in 1993, when they were 6 years old. Their company, Dual Star Entertainment Group, held that title. They didn't just get this credit for no reason. They worked on making the material that bore their names. Starting with To Grandmother's House We Go, the twins' first big project outside of Full House was a set of direct-to-video films. Fans loved these films because they had funny stories, lots of sibling antics, and of course the twins' obvious chemistry. Movies like Passport to Paris, Billboard Dad, and Holiday in the Sun were popular at sleep parties and family movie nights in the 1990s and early 2000s. It wasn't just films that they owned. The Olsen twins had their own TV shows, such as So Little Time and Two of a Kind. They put out albums of music, a popular line of books, and even a magazine. They had a line of dolls, toys, and games that were must-haves for any fan, and they were also sold in stores. One of the things that made them the most money was their relationship with Walmart, where they made clothes for preteens. The stylish, affordable clothes flew off the shelves, making them even more of a cultural icon as well as an actress. Mary-Kate and Ashley were already billion-dollar brands by the time they were teens. The size of their kingdom was what made it stand out. The Olsen twins were able to change with their audience, while many child stars had trouble staying popular as they got older. Their fans grew up with their projects, which built a bond of loyalty and connection that not many celebs could match. By the late 90s, Mary-Kate and Ashley were no longer just actresses, they were role models. Their wholesome image, coupled with their savvy business ventures, made them the ultimate teen idols. For young girls growing up in that era, the Olsen twins represented the ideal mix of relatability and aspiration. There was media coverage of them everywhere. They were on the covers of Teen People, 17, and Cosmo Girl, and the headlines often said, "How They Do It All," or "Secrets to Olsen Twin Success." In talks, they seemed calm, laid back, and wise beyond their years, which made fans and parents even more fond of them. One thing that helped them do so well was that, despite their fame, they were still easy to relate to. Even though it was clear they had amazing lives, their characters on TV felt normal. They were always fun and loving sisters, and people couldn't get enough of them, whether they were playing naughty matchmakers in It Takes Two or stylish teens in Winning London. Off-screen, their style became a big deal in its own right. Ashley and Mary-Kate were the first people to mix high-end fashion clothes with everyday clothes. This is now known as street style. Fans looked at and copied their red carpet outfits and paparazzi photos, making them fashion stars long before they were famous in the high fashion world. It wasn't a coincidence that the Olsen twins became famous. They were naturally talented and had a great relationship with each other. They also knew how to run their business well and connect with their fans on a deep personal level. What made them unique was that they knew what their roles were as both actors and businesswomen. Early in their careers, they had a lot of say in the projects they worked on and the goods that were named after them, even though they were still young. But maybe the most impressive thing about this time was that they were able to grow up in the public eye without forgetting who they were. Many child stars had a hard time dealing with the stresses of fame, but Mary-Kate and Ashley handled it all with ease. setting the stage for when they ended their playing careers and went into fashion. Their early years weren't just a stepping stone. They were an event that changed a whole generation. You can still see how they changed pop culture in things like the clothes they wore and the catchphrases they used. They were very driven, creative, and good at business, as shown by the fact that they built a country when they were so young. They didn't just ride the wave of fame, they built it. A lot of people were shocked when Ashley and Mary-Kate left Hollywood, but it was always clear that they were meant for something bigger. Set the stage for everything else, from becoming kid stars to becoming teen business moguls. Their lives have changed since then, but those early years show what can happen when hard work and ability come together. Mary-Kate and Ashley had been in front of cameras for almost 20 years by the time they were in their late teens. They got their start in show business when they were 9 months old with their first part on Full House. As they grew up, they became the stars of films, TV shows, clothing lines, and other things that made $1 billion. But that success didn't come for free. The twins started to want something they had never really had before as they got older: privacy. The expectations of fame had taken over their lives, and every moment and move was being watched and thought over. Mary-Kate and Ashley have said in interviews that they feel like monkey performers, who are always supposed to make other people happy and entertained. They were ready to take back their identities and their lives by the time they were 18. One of their first big moves was to stop playing everything. In 2004, they made their last movie together, New York Minute. It was the last movie they made together. They didn't want to appear in any more films. Instead, they went to NYU and started looking into new artistic projects, such as starting their now iconic clothing line, The Row. They chose to leave, but that wasn't the end of it. It was also unusual for the Olsens to stay away from social media, especially since Instagram and Twitter were becoming important tools for celebrities. They didn't want other people to see their private lives. They chose to only think about their work and let it speak for itself. Controversies. The reporters didn't like that they went back. Mary-Kate and Ashley had been Hollywood's golden girls for years, and tabloids and television shows had written a lot about their lives. The press jumped at the chance to fill the void they left when they left. The tabloids often made assumptions about Mary-Kate in particular. Magazines and news sites couldn't stop talking about her slim body and trendy style, and they thought she might have eating disorders or other health problems. The coverage was intrusive and often made things more exciting than they were, reducing her to a bunch of untrue rumors and ugly pictures. Following the sad death of star Heath Ledger in 2008, Mary-Kate's name became even more well-known. Ledger's masseuse was said to have called Mary-Kate before calling the police, which led to a lot of talk about how she was connected to the star. Even though she helped the police with their investigation and publicly expressed her grief, the media quickly picked up on the story and turned it into another part of the "What's Wrong with Mary-Kate" story. Even though Ashley wasn't in the press as often, she was still the subject of rumors. Gossip pages loved to write about her relationships, her choice not to go back to acting, and her part in the twins' fashion projects. The press was eager to find drama where there wasn't any, portraying the twins as mysterious and troubled individuals instead of two young women just living their lives. There is a deep conflict between private and fame at the heart of the Olsen twins' retreat. People and the media seem to expect to always be able to see into Mary-Kate and Ashley's lives, but they made it clear that they didn't owe anyone anything other than their work. The way they've built their fashion business shows that this is how they think. Their dedication to quality and privacy is shown by The Row, their high-end clothes line. They never used their fame to sell the label, even when they were starting out. There were no big ads with their names in them, and there were no behind-the-scenes posts on social media. Instead, they worked on making classic, well-made pieces that spoke for themselves. The way they dressed was similar to how they dealt with fame: simple, thoughtful, and all their own. The Olsen twins' desire for privacy seemed almost revolutionary in a world where sharing too much had become the standard. They didn't want to be influencers or talk about their personal lives in great depth. Their work had to be able to stand on its own. But their decision to hide wasn't just to stay out of the press, it was also to protect themselves. For Mary-Kate and Ashley, keeping their privacy wasn't just a choice, it was a must. After years of being famous, they knew how hard it could be to be watched all the time. They made the room they needed to grow by taking a step back, the disappearance. People who had grown to see the twins as permanent parts of their lives feel like they've lost something since they decided to stop acting. People in general were able to understand that change through the idea of disappearance. It wasn't just about the things the twins were doing, it was also about certain things they stopped doing. On the other hand, the idea that they are going away is also a sign of a larger culture trend. In this day and age when celebrity society thrives on too much attention, Mary-Kate and Ashley's choice to disappear from public view is hard to understand. For many people, the idea that they are not there is stronger than the idea that they were. They have created an air of mystery around themselves by not talking about their personal lives. This makes them even more beautiful. The trip that Ashley and Mary-Kate took together taught them how to set limits. People have praised them for being able to keep a sense of normalcy in a job that often needs the opposite, but they have also been criticized for how often they tend to isolate themselves. Their story is a powerful lesson that fame doesn't always mean giving up privacy. It wasn't an act of rebellion that Mary-Kate and Ashley chose to stay away from the situation. It was an act of self-care. They knew that if they wanted to live important lives, they had to make room for themselves, away from the expectations that everyone else thought they should have. The story about their disappearance has started to get better over time. People praise them for both what they did early on and how they were able to change themselves in their own way. This is the party they are getting now. From kid stars to fashion icons, their journey shows how determined, creative, and dedicated they were to their goal. They used to be child stars, and now they're fashion icons. Even though the Olsen twins have been less visible to the public, their effect is still clear. Because of how they handle fame, which has been shaped by their work in the fashion industry, which has changed what modern luxury means, a new generation of celebrities puts boundaries and their own health first. Through their choice to stay out of the public eye, Mary-Kate and Ashley have shown that one can be successful without putting their personal life at risk. The powerful story of their lives is a powerful lesson that sometimes the best way to shine is to step back and let the art speak for itself. The mystery surrounding Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen leaves fans with more questions than answers. What do you think of their journey? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.